Hello and welcome to another Deadlocked video guide, this time featuring Victor. I'm going to change up the editing style for this video, so please leave a comment on if you like it. Here we're going to skip to Victor's second ability. Now the reason you usually start with Jumpstart instead of Pain Battery is because Jumpstart lets you freely take aggressive trades and still come out ahead on health. Since Jumpstart does percentage based current health damage, it's better to use it when you're lower on HP than when you're higher, at least for health gain. But since it does more damage to you when you're on higher HP, if you're using it with Pain Battery, you're able to get a lot more Pain Battery charge by being on a higher HP. The way to juggle between Jumpstart and Pain Battery is to understand there's basically two scenarios you're juggling here. One is that your Pain Battery isn't fully charged yet, but it's almost charged. And so you use Jumpstart to give you that last bit of damage you need to pop Pain Battery for poke. And then the second way is your Pain Battery either is charged or only has like a sliver left. And then you use your Pain Battery first to initiate a fight, then Jumpstart to just give you a big boost on that next Pain Battery coming out quicker. It's just very important to make sure you're not using Jumpstart while you have a charged Pain Battery. Finally, it's important to note on Victor in general that movement is very important. It's super important to know how to jump out of the secret shops or just know how to strafe off jump pads or how to wall bounce effectively. It's very important to be good at movement on Victor because the move speed on jump pad is going to be able to make you move just a lot faster in general. And then on top of that, it's also important to know your upgrades on Victor. Victor has really powerful ability upgrades. Jumpstart has a really strong level 3 upgrade where it'll purge all non-ultimate debuffs. This includes tethers, afterburns, I mean anything you really think of. Now there's a lot of hard CCs that you can't purge while you're CC. So if you're stunned by 7, you can't purge that. But if 7 stun is on you and is about to pop, you can purge that. So it's very important to know how to use the two's purging abilities once you level it up fully. And now we're back to Pain Battery. Pain Battery, there's honestly not too much else to say since I've already talked about juggling with it. Just remember that it's level 2, applies a slow, which is good for, catching up to people. And then when you're aiming the Pain Battery, it's a lot easier to land it when you're on close to even levels as your opponent. If you're really up high, like if you just jumped off a zip line and so you're like way above the opponent, it's much harder to land than if you're just on the same level with them. Also, pretty much you want to spam it as soon as it's off cooldown and then use the jump start with it. You already know about the juggling stuff. Especially late game with that level 3 upgrade. Spam Pain Battery often. And then for Aura of Suffering, the important thing to note is that in lane, you want to almost never use this ability. It's genuinely just too dangerous to use. But there's ways to use it, and mostly it's just when you have your ultimate, since that's like another full health bar, if you want to think of it that way. But otherwise, if you don't have your ultimate, this isn't worth using, and in general, don't spam it in lane for sure. Like it's not. This is a mid-game farming tool. Speaking of which, you should be farming camps with this towards the mid game all the time. Victor's basic. I think Victor is probably the fastest farmer in the game when it comes to jungle camps. And you're definitely the best farmer when it comes to clearing tier 3 jungle camps. Since as soon as you have spirit resist, you can just pop Aura of Suffering and it'll just tick them down. Like, it's incredible. So use Aura of Suffering after lane to catapult yourself into a really strong mid to late game. And then mid to late game with Aura of Suffering, you should have enough Spirit Resist and Spirit Lifesteal to be able to use this in team fights. Now, it's still really good to juggle turning Aura of Suffering on and off, because I see a lot of Victors get kited, and while they're getting kited, they just leave Aura of Suffering on, and they're just taking a ton of free damage. So it's very important to be quick to turn it off when when enemies aren't in the area of effect of it. Now, all I can say about Shocking Reanimation is try not to just get picked off and waste it. And when you do have it, use it to be very, very, very aggressive. But just because you have it and you want to make an aggressive dive, it doesn't mean you have to die and use Shocking Reanimation. There's so many times where I aggressively tower dive with Shocking Reanimation just to like live and not even die, and my team gets a double kill and I get out with like 30 HP. So just because you're committed doesn't mean you have to hard commit necessarily, but if you gotta die for it, then you should die for it, because you're just gonna come back to life. So then, to wrap it all up and tie a little bow around it, in lane you just want to use your jumpstart and your pain battery to poke and fight your enemies. And I don't think I was clear enough with this when the Aura of Suffering part. But the reason you don't want to like use Aura of Suffering to deal damage is it's going to deal the same amount of damage back to you. So basically, when you use your Aura of Suffering on an enemy, both you and them are just taking the same amount of damage. 131, and then I took 131. So that's why you don't want to trade with it until you have really, I mean, Spirit Lifesteal, or at least until you have your ultimate, or if you just have a lot more HP than the enemy. Because with that HP, you know, basically you only want to use Aura of Suffering to like secure a kill. To secure a kill, or to like, even though you did the same amount of damage to both of you, if you put them at like 50% life or 50 total HP while you have 450, but they get away, that's still okay because it's probably going to push them out of lane. So you only use your 3 to push enemies out of lane, to secure a kill, or maybe to charge a pain battery in like a niche case. But until you have Spirit Lifesteal, Spirit Resistance, you basically don't use your 3. Or until you have Ultimate, because your Ultimate's going to give you a second health bar. Speaking of which, in lane, once you get your Ultimate, you should really be looking to tower dive. Either tower diving your own lane, or running over for a gank to tower dive an enemy's lane. And the reason tower diving specifically is like better than just a normal gank is because the enemies are more likely to stick around. Since Victor doesn't have any kind of hard CC, if your enemies are sticking around the Guardian, that's going to work for you as a pseudo CC, like a psychic CC basically, where that's going to kind of hold them towards the objective. And then when you tower dive, try to get some kills, but if you don't, I mean, you can just push the Guardian in, worst case scenario. Something that's really important that I forgot to mention on Victor is, especially once you have these extra spirit items, either improved spirit or extra spirit, and if the lane's more passive, like it's just a lot of poking and not so much aggressive trading, you can use I'm just getting lower on HP here, but it's totally fine to use Jumpstart in order to recharge your pain battery a bit, because it's gonna, with the improved spirits, it heals you a ton of HP. Like, holy cow. And that's good. Once you're on higher HP too, that's gonna charge your pain battery a good amount on top of you taking damage and probably having extra charge. So as long as you have like an extra charge on your jumpstart, it's like, feel free to use it early into the like into a fight, I guess, to just get some regen and get some pain battery stacks, all in the name of extra poke damage. And then as you get towards the middle of your HP, then it's going to be used just to heal you. I just feel the need to mention that. That's why improved spirit and extra spirit are bought so early on Victor. And then once you've pushed up some Guardians and you're out of lane, you're just going to want to really power farm on Victor. Because I think a lot of people think of Victor as a tank, but you really are just like a hyper carry. Because Victor scales with literally every stat in the game except for bullet resistance. And even then, you're probably going to build bullet resistance because you're going to probably need it. But you scale with everything else. I mean, you need spirit resistance to block your own aura suffering. You need spirit damage to buff all your abilities. I mean, you need everything. Spirit lifesteal, bullet lifesteal, your gun's really good. You scale with everything. But then the trade-off to that is Victor has no hard CC and he has no hard mobility in the sense of like dashes or anything. He just gives himself movement speed and slows down enemies. Meaning you're just the ultimate stat check. All you do is because of that, you want to farm items. Items are really good on Victor. You're going to want to just farm everything nonstop. But don't neglect trooper waves, because troopers actually give the most souls. So always grab a trooper wave, go to jungle camp. Trooper wave, jungle camp. Go to a different trooper wave if you have to, jungle camp. Don't make the mistake of trying to fight too much, even in like the mid game. Because, like I said, you don't have any hard CC or hard dashes or anything. There's not too much outplay potential with Victor. You're just a big wall of stats. Just keep building that snowball. Don't worry about throwing it yet. You're just keep building it, if that makes sense. Convert it to a snowball. Alright, and then to summarize Victor, you're basically just a power farming juggernaut. Because you don't have any form of hard CC or any kind of spectacular mobility, it's greatly incentivized to mostly just farm souls and play around objectives as Victor. So don't waste a ton of time trying to get fights that, especially on Victor, probably aren't going to go anywhere good. Since, like I said, you don't have any kind of game-changing abilities. Since you don't have any kind of big game-changing abilities, I should say. And I think that wraps up the Victor guide. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know how you felt about the new editing style.
Mwah.
Bye.